Okay, we're going to take out the CL200 magnetic out of the packaging and install on a door. The trick with the packaging is to not throw anything away as you're disassembling it. And the first step is to remove the top cap. So there are two little slots at the top which you can just put a screwdriver into, just a flathead screwdriver, and just pry the plastic cap off the top. As you take that off, inside there will be a little hex bit which we'll use for the installation of the handle and your installation instructions. So once you've done that, slide the cardboard box off and you're presented with the handle. The second stage is to remove the bottom cap, and inside that bottom cap is the striker and screws to install on the closing jamb at the end. Next stage is to remove the faceplate and take off the jig from around the outside. So to remove the faceplate, there's two hex screws there. The hex bit that you're supplied will fit those. Just back those off until they come right out. Put those to one side. So now the faceplate comes off. And there are 4 Phillips head screws there that need to be loosened off so we can slide the 2 side plates off the handle and disconnect those 3 pins. They don't have to come right out, just loosen them off. So once they're loosened off, it's a matter of just prying the 2 sides apart and you'll feel the pins disconnect. And you're left with the jig. So now we can take the Phillips right out to remove those 2 pieces of plastic there. Now we're left with the jig, and there's one last piece at the back which is a jig for screwing holes to install the door on the cutout. So now we've got the handle out of the packaging and the cutout jig's been removed. Just attach it to the front edge of your door and trace around the inside with a pencil and cut out that internal shape from your cutout jig. So from that point we now just need to drill 6 holes. They're for the black spaces and the 4 Phillips head screws that you took out earlier. On the back of that aluminium jig there was a drill jig. So if you just line that up with the centre of the door and put that into place, make sure it's nice and square in the centre, and then drill into all 6 holes. Once that's been done, you're ready to install the handle. So now the first step is to put back into place those black spaces with the 4 Phillips screws. So you don't want to put these all the way in, you just want to leave yourself about 10 mil to be able to slide the 2 side plates of the handle in behind them. So once you've got your spaces in place and your screws screwed in, not all the way home, you can put the 2 side plates back on. So what we want to do here is take the pins and make sure they're in all 3 slots, including the snib section in the middle, and line them up with the opposite side and connect them back together. So if we put the handles on, they slide in behind the screws. So now you've got the 2 side plates slid in behind those 4 Phillips head screws, and the 3 pins are lined up and inserted into each plate. The middle one is connected and moving freely up and down. So once that's in place like that, we just need to tighten those 4 Phillips head screws up to make sure that the side plates can't come out. So once that's all fastened into place, check that everything's moving, and we just need to put the front plate back on. Easy to tell which way it goes up with the Cabbie Lock logo at the bottom. So the only trick is to line up that centre pin, that one there, with the tooth in the front plate. So if we lift that up, and you'll feel it slot into place. Okay, so once it's in place, you'll feel that the snib is spring loaded, and we just need to put the 2 front hex screws back in. Doesn't need to be over tight. It's installed. At the bottom of your packaging there is a plastic base which inside it has a striker and 2 Phillips head screws. So you can pop the centre out of that bottom of the base and you can see the striker there. Once you pull that striker off, that's your marker to mark on the closing jamb where you're going to screw the bottom screw for the hole in the striker. So clip the jig into the finger pull of your handle, make sure the arrow is pointing up, and there's a small spike there. So when we have the door in the pocket, slide it close against the closing jamb and it will mark the spot for the bottom screw. The right way. Okay, so now your handle should slide close against the striker without interference, and you should be able to lock it and not be able to pull the doors apart. So once you're happy it's in the right place, we just need to put in the top screw. Just double check it. It's complete.